Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly draw others in without even trying? They don't scream for attention, they don't chase approval, but when they walk into a room, everyone notices. Why is that? What is it about them that makes others gravitate toward them? The truth is, it's not about being loud or flashy. It's not about how many times they speak or how many opinions they share. The most magnetic people are often the quietest in the room, not because they lack presence, but because they command attention in a way that is subtle, powerful, and deeply attractive. You've probably been told that you need to stand out, that you need to be the loudest voice, the one with the most opinions, the one everyone is talking about. But deep down, you know that doesn't always work. You've seen people who don't need to speak a word to capture the focus of a crowd. They're not demanding anything. They're not forcing anything. They're just themselves. And that's what makes them irresistible. Silent attraction is the ability to draw people in without a single word. It's a presence so magnetic that people want to be around you, not because you've asked them to, but because they feel something about you that they can't quite explain. It's a deep, almost invisible quality that resonates in everything you do. Your calmness, your confidence, your ability to be present and authentic. It all comes together to create a magnetic force that can't be ignored. But here's the most powerful part of this truth. You can cultivate this. You can build these qualities. You don't have to be born with them. These traits are learned, practiced, and refined. Imagine walking through life not trying to impress anyone, but attracting people naturally, friends, business partners, romantic interests, simply because you carry yourself in a way that draws them in. That's the magic of silent attraction, and it's something you can develop, starting today. By the end of this video, you'll understand the habits that make you silently attractive, habits that don't require loud gestures, extravagant displays, or a single word of conversation. These habits are simple, but incredibly powerful. They allow you to stand tall without saying a word, to create connections without forcing them. They let your true self shine in a way that others can't help but be drawn to. Imagine the impact you could have if you became a person who attracts others effortlessly, the connections you could form, the respect you could earn, the doors that would open just because of the way you carry yourself. This isn't about changing who you are. It's about amplifying the qualities you already possess, unlocking your full potential, and becoming a person whose presence is felt deeply. So stay with me. What you're about to learn will change the way you interact with the world around you. It's time to embrace a new kind of attraction, one that doesn't rely on volume, one that doesn't seek attention, but commands it quietly and powerfully. This is the silent way to attract people, to connect with others on a deeper level, and to become the kind of person that everyone wants to be around. Ready to discover how? Let's begin. Imagine walking into a room and not having to say a word, yet instantly feeling the shift. The eyes on you, not because you've demanded it, but because you radiate something undeniable. That something is confidence, but not the kind that shouts for attention. True confidence doesn't need a microphone. It speaks in the silence between words. It's a quiet assurance that doesn't try to convince anyone of its worth. When you exude this kind of confidence, people sense it immediately. They feel it in the way you stand, the way you move, the way you respond to challenges. Confidence like this is magnetic because it isn't about overpowering anyone. It's about being grounded, secure in who you are without needing anyone else's validation. Think about the moments when you felt truly confident. It wasn't when you were trying to prove something to others. It was when you were just being. Confident people are often the calmest ones in the room. They don't feel the need to speak loudly to be heard because their very presence carries weight. They don't have to announce their worth because they know it without question. And that's what makes them so attractive. They don't apologize for their confidence. They don't seek permission to take up space. It's a quiet power that demands respect without saying a word. If you've ever felt like you're constantly battling for attention or that you need to shout to be noticed, it's time to let that go. Silent confidence isn't about standing out at any cost. It's about standing firm in who you are. It's not arrogance, it's inner peace. When you stop fighting for recognition, you become someone who simply is. And in that presence, people can't help but gravitate toward you. The magnetic force of true confidence comes from a place of self-assurance, not from any external validation. When you can walk into a room and feel no need to impress, no need to outshine others, that's when your real power shines. You're no longer focused on what others think of you, and that freedom makes you even more attractive. It's the freedom of knowing you have nothing to prove and nothing to lose. People are drawn to that. They can feel the difference. It's the kind of confidence that comes from within, not from a need to project something you're not. This is the kind of confidence that stays with you, that doesn't fade when you leave the room. It's not situational. It's you. But here's the most powerful part. This type of confidence is available to you right now. It's not a trait reserved for a select few. It's a skill that can be developed one moment at a time. It starts by embracing who you are with all your strengths and imperfections. It's about stopping the search for validation and realizing that you are already enough, exactly as you are. The moment you accept yourself fully, without needing anyone else's approval, your confidence becomes unshakable. And when you become unshakable, people will be drawn to you, not because you're trying to attract them, but because your presence is powerful in its authenticity. This quiet confidence is the foundation of silent attraction. It's the root of everything else we're going to explore. Because when you truly believe in your own worth, when you walk through life as someone who is unafraid to take up space, that energy is felt by everyone around you. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to be. And when you become someone who is at peace with who they are, you'll see how effortlessly people are pulled toward you, captivated by your silent strength. That is the power of confidence, not the noise of showing off, but the profound silence of knowing your own value. The moment you stop reacting to everything around you, you step into a new kind of power. This power isn't loud or brash. It's silent, but it's stronger than anything the world can throw at you. It's the power of emotional control. People who are emotionally balanced, who know how to respond, not react, are magnetic. They don't let the chaos of the world knock them off course. They stay centered. They don't lose their cool when things get tough. They breathe, they pause, and they handle situations with calm authority. That is the strength that silently attracts others. How you react in moments of pressure, stress, or conflict speaks volumes about who you are. Think about it. When life throws challenges your way, do you crumble or do you remain grounded, composed, and in control? When everyone else is panicking, you are the calm in the storm. This doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It means you choose how to channel them. You decide how to respond, and you respond with purpose, not impulsiveness. That kind of emotional control isn't just a strength. It's a silent signal to the world that you are someone who can be trusted, someone who isn't swayed by external forces. Emotional control is the cornerstone of true attraction. People want to be around those who remain calm under pressure because they feel safe. They know that when things get tough, you'll be the one to hold things together, to find solutions, and to keep the ship steady. There's nothing more attractive than the person who doesn't let life's turbulence define them. They are unshaken, unbothered, and that calmness draws people in like a magnet. It's not a forceful attraction. It's a quiet pull that people can't ignore. But this kind of control isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about having the self-awareness to recognize when your emotions are taking over and the strength to choose a different response. It's knowing that you are the one in control of how you feel, not the situation or the people around you. When you can master your emotions, you stop being a slave to your impulses and you start acting from a place of clarity, wisdom, and inner strength. This is where your true power lies, in choosing to respond with grace, even in the toughest of situations. The more you practice this, the more naturally it becomes. Eventually, it's not something you have to think about. It's who you are. It's a way of being that silently influences those around you. They'll notice your ability to handle anything with calmness, and they'll want to be near that energy. They'll want to learn from you, to absorb that strength, because it's something rare. In a world full of people who react first and think later, emotional control stands out like a beacon. It is silent, but it's one of the most powerful forms of attraction. When you stop allowing the world to dictate your emotional state, you unlock a freedom that most people will never experience. That freedom is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are not only in control of their emotions, but who also inspire others to do the same. You become a steady presence, a person they can turn to, not because you're perfect, but because you're stable, reliable, and strong. And that in itself makes you incredibly attractive. Emotional control is not just about keeping your composure. It's about cultivating a sense of peace within yourself that no external circumstance can disturb. It's about building an inner fortress so solid that the storms of life can rage all they want, but they'll never shake you. And when you embody that kind of strength, you become the kind of person others want to be around because they feel safe, grounded, and calm in your presence. That silent strength becomes your most magnetic quality. The way you make others feel can have a deeper impact than any words you speak. It's not about impressing people with what you know, but rather showing them that you truly see them, hear them, and understand them. In a world that's always busy, always rushing to be heard, the person who listens is a rare treasure. When you genuinely listen, you don't just wait for your turn to speak. You engage with what the other person is saying. You create space for them to express themselves, and in that space, you become someone people want to be around. The most silently attractive people are often the best listeners. They make others feel like they matter, like their thoughts and emotions are important. Active listening isn't just hearing words, it's about being fully present in the moment. When you listen attentively, with focus and without distraction, you give people the gift of being truly understood. And that is a rare and powerful gift. Think about the people you're drawn to. Aren't they the ones who make you feel seen? The ones who listen, who ask questions that show they care, who reflect back what you said without judgment or interruption. That kind of attention, that kind of presence draws people in because it's the one thing most people long for, to be truly heard. When you give someone your full attention, when you put aside your own distractions and focus on their words, you create a bond that's far deeper than just a casual exchange. You communicate something powerful without saying a single word, "You matter to me." That simple act of active listening opens doors to deeper relationships, stronger connections, and more meaningful interactions. People are drawn to those who make them feel valued, and the best way to make others feel valued is to listen, to really listen. This habit is incredibly powerful because it doesn't require you to perform. You don't need to be witty or overly charismatic or try to impress anyone. You simply need to show up with your full presence and allow the other person to feel understood. And in doing so, you create an unspoken connection. It's magnetic because it's rare. So many people are focused on themselves, on getting their own point across, that they forget the power of simply being there for someone else. But when you become the person who listens, who pauses and reflects, who makes the other person feel heard, you attract them to you like a magnet. It's in these small, quiet moments that real attraction is built. It's not the flashy introductions or the loud conversations that leave a lasting impression. It's the person who listens without interrupting, who makes the other person feel like their thoughts and feelings truly matter. This kind of attraction is not about putting on a show or trying to be something you're not. It's about being present, being real, and showing up for others in a way that most people don't. Active listening doesn't just deepen your relationships, it enhances your own personal growth. When you listen with intent, you learn. You gain wisdom, understanding, and insight that can't be acquired through words alone. By truly hearing others, you expand your own perspective and become more emotionally intelligent, more attuned to the needs of those around you. This deeper understanding of others is not only attractive, it's transformative. You're not just engaging in conversation, you're building a connection that transcends words, creating a bond that is felt on a deeper level. And when you do this consistently, you become someone people are naturally drawn to because they know without a doubt that you will listen, that you will see them for who they are, and that you will make them feel truly valued. The way you move through life, the way you carry yourself says more than any words you could ever speak. It's the quiet strength in your posture, the way you walk with purpose, and the calm assurance that you belong. People are drawn to those who move with intention, with grace, and with confidence. It's not about being physically perfect or having the most noticeable presence. It's about how you present yourself in every moment. When you walk with purpose, when you move with intention, you communicate to the world that you are someone who knows where they are going. You don't need to shout it. Your actions speak louder than any words could. Your body language is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. When you hold your head high, shoulders back, and walk with confidence, you're telling the world that you believe in your own worth. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're simply moving through the world as someone who knows they have value. People can feel that kind of energy. They can sense when someone is comfortable in their own skin, when they're not trying to prove anything. This quiet confidence, this ease of movement is magnetic. It makes people want to be near you, to be in your presence, because they sense that you are grounded, you are centered, and you are secure in who you are. It's easy to forget how powerful your body language can be. Every step you take, every gesture, every glance you make communicates something about you. And when you are intentional with these actions, when you move with purpose, you start to attract people without even trying. You become a beacon of calm, of strength, and of quiet assurance. You don't need to say a word to make an impact. Your presence speaks for itself. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with quiet confidence because it's something they can't easily find elsewhere. It's a rare quality, one that exudes power without ever feeling like a performance. When you walk into a room with purpose, when you move with grace and poise, you set the tone for how others will perceive you. You don't need to dominate a conversation or vie for attention. You simply need to show up as the best version of yourself, someone who is sure of who they are and where they stand in the world. This doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean you have it all together. It means that you've accepted yourself fully and you walk through life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their own worth. This kind of movement comes from within. It's rooted in self-respect and self-love. When you value yourself, when you truly believe in your own worth, you don't need to seek validation from others. You know that you are enough exactly as you are. And when you move with this kind of inner strength, others can't help but notice. They're drawn to your calm energy, your centered presence, and your ability to move through the world with intention. This is the kind of attraction that lasts, the kind that isn't based on superficial appearances or fleeting moments. It's rooted in your essence, in who you are at your core. When you begin to move with purpose, when you start carrying yourself with this quiet strength, you'll notice the shift. You'll feel more confident, more grounded, and more at peace with who you are. And those around you will feel it too. They'll sense your self-assurance and be drawn to it like a magnet. You'll no longer need to chase after validation or approval. You'll simply walk through life with a quiet confidence, and people will naturally be drawn to your presence. That is the power of moving with intention. It's not loud, it's not in your face, it's silent, but it's powerful beyond measure. The most powerful way to attract others is not through what you say, but through the way you make them feel, the way you show empathy and kindness without needing recognition for it. When you show genuine care for others, when you listen to their struggles, their joys, their dreams, you create a bond that goes far beyond surface level interactions. People feel drawn to those who are compassionate, who offer a safe space for others to express themselves. This isn't about being a martyr or constantly putting others before yourself. It's about showing up for others in a way that makes them feel valued, heard, and understood. When you extend kindness without expectation, without wanting anything in return, it's like you open a door to something deeper. People are tired of transactions. They're tired of interactions that feel like they're being used or measured. What they crave, what they seek, is someone who will offer them genuine care, who will treat them with respect and empathy. That's how real connections are built. It's not about trying to get something from someone, but about giving something to them. Your attention, your presence, your understanding. And in giving that, you receive something far greater in return: trust, admiration, and a deep, unspoken attraction that can't be replicated by any superficial gesture. Kindness is often underestimated. People tend to think that attraction comes from being loud or being the most successful or being the most impressive person in the room. But the truth is, the most attractive people are the ones who make others feel safe and cared for. They show kindness not just to those who can offer something in return, but to everyone. They understand that every person, no matter their status or situation, deserves respect and empathy. This is not about appearing perfect, but about showing humanity, vulnerability, and a willingness to connect on a deeper level. When you show kindness in a way that's genuine, it creates a ripple effect. It doesn't just affect the person you're being kind to. It impacts everyone around you. The energy you put out into the world is contagious. It makes people want to be around you. It makes them want to be better themselves. You become the kind of person people seek out for support, for guidance, for comfort. They know that when they come to you, they will be met with understanding, not judgment. They will feel safe to be themselves, to express their emotions, and to trust that you will treat them with the same kindness and respect you show to everyone else. This is the kind of attraction that lasts. It's not based on how you look or what you can offer in terms of status or wealth. It's based on how you make others feel. And when you make people feel seen, heard, and valued, you become someone they can't forget. You don't need to chase after them. You don't need to try and win them over. When you show up with authenticity and care, they will naturally be drawn to you. You create a space where people feel safe to be vulnerable, to be themselves, and in return, they will be drawn to your energy, to your presence. And here's the most beautiful part. The more kindness you give, the more you grow. It's just something inside you. The more you focus on lifting others up, the more your own sense of self-worth grows. You stop needing validation from external sources because you find value in the act of giving, in the act of being there for others. When you treat others with compassion, you unlock a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment within yourself. This creates an inner peace that is so attractive, so magnetic, that people are drawn to you not for what you have or what you do, but for who you are. Someone who exudes warmth, kindness, and empathy in everything they do. And that is the most silent, yet powerful form of attraction there is. The greatest form of attraction comes from the way you treat yourself, the way you honor your own worth, your own time, your own energy. Speaks volumes to the world about how others should treat you. When you set boundaries, when you say no to things that drain you or don't align with your values, you send a powerful message. I respect myself and I expect to be respected in return. Self-respect is magnetic because it reflects a deep understanding of your own value. You no longer seek approval from others because you already know that you are enough, just as you are. People who respect themselves don't let others dictate how they should feel or act. They know what they deserve and they don't settle for less. This doesn't mean being rigid or uncompromising. It means having the clarity to know when to step back, when to walk away, and when to stand firm. It's about maintaining your own sense of peace and integrity, regardless of external pressures. And in doing so, you become someone who commands respect without even trying. You become someone who attracts others naturally, not because you're demanding attention, but because you're honoring your own presence and energy. Self-respect is the foundation of every healthy relationship you'll ever have, whether it's with friends, family, or romantic partners. The more you value yourself, the more others will recognize and value you. When you treat yourself with dignity, when you prioritize your own well-being, others will follow suit. They will see that you're someone who takes care of yourself, someone who knows their worth, and they will be drawn to that energy. It's not about being perfect. It's about being true to yourself and standing up for your own needs, desires, and boundaries. When you respect yourself, you also become more discerning about who you allow into your life. You stop wasting time on relationships that don't serve you, that drain your energy, or that make you feel small. You understand that your time, your attention, and your energy are valuable, and you choose to spend them with people who uplift you, who respect you, and who reflect the standards you hold for yourself. This doesn't mean you cut people off easily or that you become overly critical. It simply means you stop tolerating anything less than what you deserve. Self-respect also empowers you to grow, to keep pushing yourself toward your highest potential. You stop holding yourself back out of fear of judgment, of failure, or of rejection. You recognize that growth is part of your journey, and you accept the challenges that come with it. You embrace discomfort because you know it's leading you towards something greater. Self-respect isn't about staying in your comfort zone. It's about honoring yourself enough to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to pursue your dreams with unwavering conviction. When you live with self-respect, you also become an example to others. People around you will begin to see what it looks like to value oneself, to set healthy boundaries, and to prioritize personal growth. They will be inspired by your strength and your commitment to your own well-being, and they'll be naturally drawn to you. Your energy will be one of quiet strength, of calm assurance, and of unwavering self-worth. And in that space, people will see your value without you having to say a word. You may not always be able to control how others treat you, but when you treat yourself with the highest respect, you create a life that reflects that. You become someone who is impossible to overlook, not because you're trying to be noticed, but because your sense of self-worth is so clear, so strong, that it naturally attracts respect from others. And that silent magnetism rooted in self-respect is the foundation of true lasting attraction. The way you carry yourself also reveals your inner strength through resilience. Life will test you, no doubt. It will challenge you in ways you never expected. But it's not the hardships that define you. It's how you rise from them, how you keep going when it feels like everything is falling apart. Resilience is the ability to bend without breaking, to face adversity and still move forward even when the path ahead feels unclear. It's this resilience that quietly draws others to you. People are drawn to strength, but not the kind that comes from avoiding pain or discomfort. True strength is found in the willingness to face life head on, to learn from your struggles, and to grow stronger because of them. When you embrace the storms that come your way, when you stand tall, even when the world around you seems to be crumbling, you become a beacon of hope and inspiration. It's not that you won't face challenges, you will, but your ability to keep going, to adapt and to persevere, even when things seem impossible, shows others that they too have the power to rise above their circumstances. People are naturally drawn to resilience. They want to be around those who inspire them, who show them that it's possible to come out of the darkness stronger than before. Resilience is quiet, but it's incredibly powerful. It doesn't need to be shouted from the rooftops or displayed for all to see. It's woven into your actions and how you handle life's setbacks, how you keep moving forward when others might falter. When you show up time and time again, despite the challenges you face, people begin to take notice. They see your strength in the way you carry yourself, in the way you keep going even when the odds are against you. That kind of quiet strength is magnetic because it speaks to something deep within the human soul. It says, if they can do it, so can I. Resilience is also the ability to forgive yourself and keep going. We all make mistakes. We all have moments where we feel like we fail. But those who are resilient don't let their mistakes define them. They learn from them. They use failure as a stepping stone, not as a reason to quit. And this mindset, this refusal to be broken by failure, makes you incredibly attractive to others. It shows that you are capable of growth, that you are committed to your journey no matter how hard it gets. And people are drawn to that energy because it gives them hope. It shows them that even in their own struggles, there's a way forward, a way to rebuild and become even stronger than before. Resilience isn't about being perfect or always getting it right. It's about how you handle the moments when things don't go as planned, when life throws obstacles in your way. It's about choosing to move forward, to keep pushing even when everything in you wants to give up. And in doing so, you silently radiate strength, courage, and hope. Others are drawn to your energy, not because you are flawless, but because you are real. You show them that it's possible to rise again, to keep going, and to emerge from every challenge with more power than before. This kind of inner strength, the ability to bounce back no matter what, creates a silent magnetism. You don't have to prove anything. You simply live your life with the knowledge that no matter what happens, you will face it with grace, and you will rise from it stronger than ever. That quiet confidence, that resilience, is one of the most attractive qualities you can possess. Because when people see you standing tall, when they witness your ability to overcome life's toughest challenges, they can't help but be drawn to your energy. They want to be around that strength. They want to learn from it. And without even trying, you attract them simply by living with resilience. There's an undeniable strength in the silence you maintain, in the moments when you choose not to speak, but to simply observe and listen. It's not about withholding your thoughts or opinions out of fear. It's about recognizing the power of quiet presence. People are drawn to those who understand the value of listening, those who aren't constantly filling the space with their own voice. The person who listens deeply, who takes the time to truly hear others, is rare in a world that often values constant talking over thoughtful reflection. And this ability to listen, truly listen, draws people in like nothing else. When you listen, you show respect. You show that you care more about understanding than being understood. You're telling the other person without saying a word that they are worthy of your time and attention. In a world full of distractions, where everyone is rushing to share their own thoughts, people appreciate someone who can create space for them to feel heard. This is the kind of person who attracts trust, respect, and genuine connection. And none of it requires loud words or grand gestures. It requires presence, patience, and the willingness to let others be seen for who they truly are. When you give someone your undivided attention, you open the door to deeper connections. People feel value when they are listened to without judgment or interruption. They feel a sense of belonging, a sense that they matter, and this feeling, this quiet acknowledgement of their worth is incredibly attractive. It draws people to you, not because you're performing for them, but because you're offering them something they can't always find elsewhere. True, authentic presence. Listening also requires emotional intelligence. It means understanding the unspoken, sensing the emotions behind the words. This ability to connect on a deeper level, to pick up on the nuances of someone's feelings is magnetic. People naturally want to be around those who make them feel safe, seen, and understood. And this doesn't require being the loudest person in the room. It requires tuning in to the energy around you, to the subtleties of human connection. It's in these small moments when you give others the space to express themselves fully that you create an attraction that lasts. Being the person who listens, the person who gives space, is not about being passive. It takes strength to remain silent when you have thoughts, opinions, and advice to share. It takes maturity to hold back, to let the other person speak their truth first before you add your voice. And when you do speak, it carries more weight, more significance, because you've taken the time to listen. You've earned the right to share your perspective, and people will listen when you do because they know that you've already demonstrated respect for theirs. In this world that constantly demands our attention, the ability to simply be present with someone, to listen without distraction, is a rare and powerful gift. People don't just want to be heard. They want to be understood, and they want to be respected for their feelings and experiences. When you offer that to them without expectation or need for recognition, you create an emotional bond that goes beyond superficial attraction. You create a foundation of trust, and that trust becomes the basis for all meaningful relationships. The quiet power of listening is one of the most attractive qualities you can embody. It shows strength in your restraint, confidence in your ability to hold space for others, and wisdom in recognizing that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. When you listen deeply, when you make people feel seen and heard, you don't have to chase after connection. It comes to you naturally because you've already created the space for it to flourish. And in that space, you'll find a magnetic pull that draws others towards you without a single word needing to be spoken. Your energy speaks before you even say a word. There's an unspoken force in how you carry yourself and how you hold yourself in any given moment. The energy you emit tells the world everything they need to know about you without a single sentence. It's the quiet confidence that radiates from you when you enter a room, the calm assurance that others can't help but notice. People are drawn to this energy because it reflects someone who is at peace with themselves, someone who doesn't need to prove their worth to the world. They simply are, and in their presence you feel that magnetic pull. The key to attracting others lies not in trying to be more, but in being fully present with what you already are. When you cultivate a sense of inner peace, when you learn to be comfortable with your own company, you no longer need to chase after validation or approval. Your energy becomes a reflection of your self-assurance, your belief in your own value. This self-assurance isn't about arrogance or superiority. It's about a deep sense of self-worth that doesn't rely on external circumstances to feel whole. When you walk into a room with that energy, grounded, centered, and unapologetically yourself, you naturally draw people to you. They feel your peace, and they want to be in that energy. What's more magnetic than someone who is confident in their own skin? It's not about being perfect. It's about being authentic. When you embrace your imperfections and wear them with pride, you become untouchable in the best way. You stop pretending to be someone else, and in that authenticity, others find something they've been searching for, a real connection, free from pretense and games. This kind of energy doesn't need to announce itself. It simply exists, quietly commanding respect and admiration. People feel at ease around those who are comfortable with who they are. They feel safe to be themselves when they're in the presence of someone who isn't trying to change, someone who isn't judging them. You create an environment of trust and safety simply by embodying the confidence of knowing who you are and being okay with it. This silent power, this energy of self-assurance creates a gravitational pull that others can't resist. They want to be near you, to soak in the calmness, the clarity, and the strength you radiate. Your energy doesn't just affect others in a momentary way. It creates a ripple effect. It influences the space around you and inspires others to tap into their own sense of peace. They begin to recognize that it's possible to stop the cycle of seeking external validation, that it's possible to stand in their own truth and still be loved and appreciated. You lead by example without even trying. You show them that their worth isn't dependent on other people's opinions or the amount of attention they get. It's about being grounded in who they are, about radiating a quiet strength that draws the right people to them. The more you cultivate this energy of quiet confidence, the more you become a magnet for others who are seeking the same. It's not about collecting people or gathering attention. It's about attracting those who resonate with your energy, those who are also on their journey of self-discovery and growth. These connections, these relationships are built on something far deeper than superficial traits or appearances. They're built on mutual respect, understanding, and the shared energy of authenticity. When you choose to live authentically and embody your true self, your energy becomes a source of inspiration for others. They are drawn to you because they feel safe in your presence. They feel the strength that comes from being fully grounded in who you are, and they want to experience that for themselves. You become someone who leads without effort, who inspires without speaking, and who attracts people naturally because of the energy you put into the world. And that energy, that magnetic presence, is one of the most powerful forms of attraction there is. It doesn't need to be loud. It simply needs to be real. When you stop chasing external validation, you unlock the true power of your authenticity. The world is constantly telling us to prove ourselves, to be more, to do more, to have more. But the truth is, the more you chase after external approval, the more you lose sight of what truly matters, yourself. When you stop seeking validation from others, you stop diminishing your own worth in the eyes of those around you. Instead, you recognize that the only validation you ever need comes from within. You stop waiting for someone else to recognize your worth because you already know it. And in that knowing, you become unstoppable. This shift in mindset is powerful. It's transformative. When you stop relying on others to tell you your value, you begin to define it for yourself. You stop letting the opinions of others shape your sense of self. You create your own standards, your own beliefs, and your own path. This is when true freedom begins. You are no longer at the mercy of the world's judgment. You are free to live life on your own terms, to chase your dreams, and to pursue your goals without being held back by the fear of what others might think. This is how you reclaim your personal power. When you embrace your own validation, you stop playing the game of comparison. You stop measuring your worth against others and instead start measuring it against the person you are becoming. You no longer feel the need to compete for attention, approval, or recognition. You simply do what you do because it brings you joy, because it aligns with your values, and because it represents the best version of yourself, and that is deeply attractive to others. People are drawn to those who are at peace with who they are, who don't feel the need to prove themselves. There's an undeniable magnetism in someone who isn't trying to be anyone else but themselves. The beauty of this is that when you stop seeking validation, you become free to connect with others on a deeper level. You no longer need to impress them, to win them over, or to put on a facade. You can be real with them, showing them the raw, unfiltered version of yourself. And that's what people crave, authentic connection. They want to feel seen, heard, and understood, just as you do. When you are free from the need for validation, you give others the space to be free too. You allow them to show up as their true selves, without judgment or expectation. Living authentically, without the need for constant validation, creates an energy that is irresistibly attractive. It's the kind of magnetism that pulls others toward you without effort. People feel comfortable around you because they don't sense any hidden agendas. There are no strings attached, no ulterior motives. You are simply existing as your true, unshakable self. And that is what people want. They want to be around someone who doesn't need to be validated, someone who is secure in their own worth. It's that sense of peace, that internal harmony that draws them in. This isn't about shutting others out or dismissing their opinions. It's about understanding that the only opinion that truly matters is your own. You begin to trust yourself, your instincts, and your judgment. You let go of the constant need to fit in, to conform, and to please others. Instead, you choose to stand tall in your authenticity, knowing that this is what will attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences into your life. When you are no longer seeking approval, you stop living for the expectations of others. You start living for yourself. And in that shift, you'll discover the kind of deep inner peace that allows you to be fully present with others, to connect with them on a genuine level, and to attract the kinds of relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding. You stop chasing after validation, and in doing so, you start attracting everything you've ever truly wanted. Your authenticity becomes your most magnetic trait. The strength of your character is the foundation of all that you attract. It's easy to get caught up in the surface level pursuits of success, attention, or popularity, but what truly draws people to you, what keeps them coming back, is the depth of your character. It's in the quiet, consistent choices you make when no one is watching. It's in the integrity you uphold, even when it's inconvenient, when it's difficult, when no one else would know the difference. Character isn't built in grand gestures. It's forged in the small everyday moments when you choose to be true to your values, when you choose to act with honesty, kindness, and respect for others. Your character is the magnet that attracts the right people into your life. When you embody integrity and authenticity, you give others the space to trust you, to feel safe with you, and trust is the bedrock of any meaningful connection. When people see you as someone who stands by their word, who does the right thing even when it's hard, they are naturally drawn to you. They know that with you, there's no pretense, no hidden agendas, just truth, honesty, and a deep respect for who they are. And that kind of presence is rare. In a world full of facades, the person who stands solidly in their own truth shines with an undeniable light. This strength of character is not about perfection. It's not about being flawless in every moment. It's about showing up as you are, taking responsibility for your actions, and striving to do better each day. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't determined by how much you achieve or how others perceive you, but by the integrity with which you live your life. When you live with this kind of inner strength, when you make decisions based on your values rather than external pressure, you create a ripple effect that inspires others to do the same. You become the kind of person people want to be around, not because of your accomplishments, but because of the strength of your character, which invites them to be better too. When your character is rooted in authenticity, it allows you to build connections that are not based on superficial attraction, but on mutual respect and understanding. People who value and admire your integrity will be naturally drawn to you. They'll see the consistency in your actions, your ability to stay grounded in who you are no matter the situation, and they'll want to be part of that energy. True connections aren't built on performances or masks. They're built on the quiet strength of knowing who you are and standing by it. And the most beautiful part of this is that it doesn't require effort or manipulation. When your character is your foundation, everything flows naturally. You don't have to chase after people or try to impress them with achievements or accolades. People will be drawn to you because they feel the authenticity in your presence. They'll want to be around you because you make them feel safe, seen, and valued. Your strength of character gives them permission to be authentic as well, creating a powerful bond that goes far beyond surface-level interactions. What truly makes you silently attractive is not how much you do or how loud you speak, but how solidly you stand in your own truth. The world is full of distractions, but when you show up with a calm assurance, grounded in your integrity and character, you become an anchor for those around you. You offer them a safe space to be real, to drop their masks and to connect on a deeper level. That kind of silent strength is magnetic. It pulls people in without a word being spoken, without any need for performance. It simply exists, and in that existence, it calls others to rise to their highest selves. When your character is your foundation, your attraction doesn't come from what you have or what you can do for others. It comes from who you are at your core. And that is the kind of attraction that lasts, that endures through time. It's the kind of attraction that doesn't fade when the spotlight shifts or when the external circumstances change. It's the kind that stays strong, unwavering, and deeply rooted in your essence. True power doesn't need to be broadcasted. It doesn't require constant validation or the need to prove itself. The most powerful people are those who move quietly, but with immense purpose. They don't shout to be noticed. They don't demand attention. Instead, they walk with a calm that exudes strength, a strength that is built on their inner peace and unshakable belief in themselves. This quiet power is the most attractive force you can possess because it comes from a place of self-assurance, not ego. It is the confidence that radiates from within, not from the need to impress others, but from the quiet conviction of knowing your own worth. When you move with intention, when your actions are aligned with your values and your truth, you don't need to make noise to be seen. People notice the depth in your silence. They feel the gravity in your presence. And that in itself is magnetic. There's a certain energy that draws others in when you are secure in who you are and aren't constantly seeking external affirmation. It's the energy of someone who knows that they are enough without needing to be anything more than who they already are. This is the power of quiet confidence. It doesn't need to announce itself because it speaks for itself. The most attractive people are not those who try to fit into the crowd or those who constantly chase approval. It's the ones who show up fully as themselves, who are comfortable in their own skin, who don't need to change to fit in or to be loved. They've learned the secret to real power, the power of self-acceptance. When you stop pretending to be someone you're not, you stop giving away your energy to forces outside yourself. You stop looking for external validation and begin to cultivate a deep, unshakable self-love that cannot be disturbed by anyone's opinion. This love for yourself is what makes you magnetic. It makes others feel comfortable, at ease, and drawn to you because they can sense the quiet strength you carry. People are drawn to your authenticity because it provides them with a sense of safety. When they're in your presence, they don't feel the need to put on a mask or play a role. They can simply be. And that is rare. In a world full of facades, the person who is comfortable in their own skin, the one who is not pretending to be anything they are not, becomes an oasis of peace and trust. That's when people feel like they can let their guard down. They want to be near you, to learn from you, to be inspired by you, and all of this happens without you having to say a word. When you embody this quiet confidence, you become a force that others are drawn to naturally. You don't have to chase after relationships, opportunities, or recognition. You stop living for the approval of others and start living for your own truth. This is what makes you stand out, not in a loud way, but in a way that is undeniable. You attract the right people and the right experiences because your energy is aligned with who you are at your core. The world can sense authenticity, and authenticity is magnetic. When you choose to be real, to stand in your truth, you draw to you all that is meant for you. The magic of silent attraction lies in the fact that it is effortless. You no longer have to perform, to try to convince anyone of your value. You simply live it. When you are grounded in your own sense of worth, when you carry yourself with quiet strength and confidence, you naturally become someone others want to be around. It is the power of being completely unapologetically yourself, without fear, without doubt, and without hesitation. And that energy, that undeniable pull, is the most powerful kind of attraction there is. The world needs more people who are willing to embrace their truth, to show up fully as themselves, and to let their authentic power shine. When you do, you'll see just how magnetic you truly are. When you stop seeking approval from others, you reclaim your power. You no longer live for the approval of your peers, the applause of the crowd, or the validation of social media likes. You realize that your worth is not contingent on anyone else's opinion. It is not shaped by the number of people who admire you, nor by the achievements you've collected along the way. Your value comes from the quiet knowing within you that you are enough as you are. And when you finally embrace this, when you stop asking others to tell you your worth, you become untouchable. The approval you seek, you already have it from yourself. This is when real attraction begins. Not because you're trying to impress, but because you're no longer trying at all. You stop performing for others and start simply living for yourself. You do what feels right to you, not because it will get you recognition, but because it aligns with who you are. This creates an energy that is undeniable. People are drawn to those who don't need to prove themselves. The quieter your need for validation, the louder your presence becomes. There's a magnetism in this. When you no longer seek approval, your energy becomes solid, unshakable, and completely authentic. You stop looking outside of yourself for worth And in doing so, you show others what it means to truly be confident, comfortable in their own skin, and free. When you embrace this inner freedom, your actions are no longer about showing others what you can do or who you can become. They are simply expressions of your own true self. You stop chasing goals for the sake of impressing others or meeting external expectations. Instead, you pursue them because they resonate with who you are. Your work becomes meaningful because it stems from a place of passion, not external pressure. Your relationships become deep because they are built on mutual respect and shared understanding, not based on appearances or superficial attractions. The real power in your life comes from the quiet assurance that you are worthy of everything you desire simply because you exist. This shift in mindset leads to true, lasting attractiveness. People don't feel compelled to be around you because you've won their admiration. They are drawn to your presence because they see someone who is whole, someone who has everything they need inside. When you stop relying on external forces for validation, you give others permission to do the same. You become an example of what it means to be truly free, to stand in your power without needing to shrink or perform. You become a beacon of authenticity, and that energy is irresistible. This isn't about shutting out the world. It's not about isolating yourself or refusing to connect with others. It's about stepping into your life fully without fear of judgment. When you stop seeking approval, you give yourself permission to be vulnerable, to be real, and to invite people into your life who truly see you. This creates connections that are rooted in mutual respect and genuine interest. You no longer need to put on a facade to be liked. The people who are meant for you will be drawn to you naturally because they will sense your authenticity. They will appreciate the real you, not the version you created to please others. When you stop living for the approval of others, you begin to live for yourself, and that is when you truly start to shine. Your self-assurance radiates outward, and people are drawn to your energy. You begin to see how powerful, how magnetic you truly are when you stop pretending to be anything other than what you are. You are enough, just as you are. And in embracing that truth, you unlock a power that is quietly but undeniably attractive.